Stage is set in Sin City tonight. The 5 Democrats in the race for president will duke it out in their first debate.
There's even a podium waiting for Joe Biden, just in case, as you can see right there with that crazy carpet behind it.
Yeah, that is not the best carpet I've ever seen, but what do I know?
That's Vegas carpet, baby.
I guess so.
Vegas.
John Roberts is live in Vegas. What can we expect tonight?
Brian, Steve, Elizabeth, good morning to you. The big challenge for Hillary Clinton tonight is going to be to try to fend off the threat posed to her on the left by Bernie Sanders. Over the weekend, Sanders drew huge crowds to rallies that he held. 13,000 in Tucson, 9,000 in Boulder, Colorado. While Clinton still leads in the national polls, Sanders is nipping at her heels in Iowa, actually leads her in New Hampshire. Sanders, who faces his own challenge of appearing presidential at the debate tonight, will be right at Clinton's side for 2 hours. Clinton is going to be center stage. If you take a look at the lineup here, flanked by Sanders and O'Malley to her right and her left. Lincoln Chafee and Jim Webb will be on the ends. They are, as you mentioned, holding a 6th podium just in case Joe Biden decides to suddenly jump in the race. He's got until 6 o'clock tonight. Not likely, we're being told, but our Ed Henry is being told by sources close to Biden that he is likely to join the race after the debate. He does really have until the end of this month. He does face some hard filing deadlines beginning in Alabama on November the 6th, but he still has some time to make up his mind. It will be interesting to watch tonight's debate to see if Hillary Clinton gets any tough questions on the big controversies that have been dogging her, Benghazi and the email scandal, as well as her recent flip-flops on her support for the Keystone XL pipeline and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that big trade deal. And it will also be interesting to see whether or not the host network, CNN, tries to pit the Democratic candidates against each other in the same way that they did at the Republican debate at the Reagan Library last month. Brian, Elizabeth, Steve?
That is a great point. What will CNN do? John Roberts, thank you very much.
And Henry says it looks like Joe Biden's getting in. I tell you, one person who's gotten the couch, he's sitting to Steve's immediate right, Newt Gingrich. Welcome back, Newt. First time on the couch in a while.
I know. It's good.
So what's going to happen tonight?
Very small audience, very boring.
So far, the high for Democrats is 10 million. There was 24 watching the Republicans. What do you think?
That's about right. Then the 10 million will trail off as they realize that
nothing happened.
I mean, do you really want to listen to the 5 people who are going to be there?
Well, you know what's interesting is a lot of people are going to see whether Hillary Clinton comes out of this far worse off than she began.
And she could.
And she could, particularly if she has a moment like this back in 2008 when she got called on flip-flopping. This is one of your favorite moments. We're going to watch it, and then I'd love to hear why you think it's important.
I just want to add, I did not say that it should be done, but I certainly recognize why Governor Spitzer is trying to do it. And we have failed. We have failed.
No. You said yes.
No.
You thought it made sense to do it.
No, I didn't, Chris. But the point is, what are we going to do with all these illegal immigrants who are driving?
See, that's the problem with the flip-flopper. It's hard to remember what your stance was.
Well, her stance was to be sort of where she was standing when she was standing there. If you don't remember that, that's your fault, because you should remember that she was standing right there at the time she was standing.
Last time she was on stage, Newt, she was against same-sex marriage. She was a supporter of the Second Amendment. She stood behind the Iraq War vote, and she opposed states issuing driver's license to illegal immigrants, and she reversed all of it.
This is why Fox News has a bad reputation on the left. You insist on the facts.
Right, I guess so.
I think there's something, it's cheating.
Have you noticed that when you
to go back and suggest that what she once said is what she said, and therefore when she says something different, it's wrong? I think this is the kind of stuff you guys do that just drives the left crazy.
Again, you're berating the media.
There you go. Of course, you did berate the media back in 2012 when you were running for president. Here's a clip of Newt Gingrich at one of the debates. The topic, the poor.
And you look at credit unions, there are a lot of government-sponsored enterprises that are awfully important and do an awfully good job.
What about the explanation you just heard that he's in the private sector and this is free enterprise?
And then to go to work for them and get anything which in any way has ever touched government could raise questions about doctors dealing with Medicare and Medicaid and a whole range of other government activities. There are many things governments do. I did no lobbying of any kind for any organization, and that was a key part of every agreement we had.
Well, let me pick up with that with you, Congresswoman.
We're going to relive the whole entire
That was
debate.
not the clip we had intended.
Right, but it was a good clip. It was a good moment.
It was a nice moment.
It wasn't a great moment.
Those of us who feel cheated because, you know, you're going back, you're pretending there's something I might have said in 12, I should still remember. And this is what Hillary's problem is going to be. I mean, they actually want to remember what she said last month. And this is hard.
About the XL pipeline, about the Pacific Trade Agreement.
Or about whether or not she knows Sidney Blumenthal.
Sure.
We know that for sure.
Yeah, those would be good questions. Meanwhile, there's always the age question that comes up. I mean, will the age come up? I know it has on the Republican side. During the race back in 1984, Ronald Reagan's age came up a number of times because the debate before, he seemed like he was fading, and then he said this at the debate.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
A hilarious line.
Close and I did a movie on Reagan called Rendezvous with Destiny, and there's a segment right there where they suddenly come in on Mondale's eyes, and you see him thinking, this is over.
And he said it. See you later.
After that, he just...
One of the best
never going to recover.
You were just over at CNN for quite a while. You had a chance to see this thing full circle, not just from the Republican right. What do you think about President Obama's obsession with Fox News?
Oh, I think that President Obama believes that he was sent here on a mission to make America the kind of country he'd like it to be, and that the one major fly in the ointment is Fox News. And if it weren't for you guys, Putin wouldn't be in Syria. If it weren't for you guys, Obamacare would be working. If it weren't for you guys, we'd have full employment.
Guns wouldn't be an issue.
Guns wouldn't exist. I mean, and so I think he gets up in the morning. I gather he gets up in the morning, he watches you all. And
probably watching right now.
By the time he gets to breakfast, he's already so furious.
He didn't spare the opportunity. He was doing an interview with Marilyn Robinson over at New York Review of Books, and he took the opportunity to say how Fox News, to your point, creates him to be a scary person. Watch.
It's interesting because we're talking in Iowa. People always, I think, were surprised about me connecting with folks in small town Iowa. And the reason I did was, first of all, I had the benefit that at the time nobody expected me to win. And so I wasn't viewed through this prism of Fox News and conservative media and making me scary.
What do you think?
Look, I think if you're a conservative, he is scary. If you're a conservative, he talks about an executive order on gun control, an executive order on amnesty for illegal immigrants. He has a foreign policy where you surrender to the Iranians, and you're so weak in Syria that Putin thinks that for the first time since 1970, Russia can re-enter the Middle East. I mean, we think he's actually scary because by our values, he's scary. And he can't accept the idea that there may be an alternative value system to his radicalism.
But other presidents felt as though, from Nixon on, upped him down, and put that the media might have been against them. But why is this such an obsession?
Well, I think in this case, he doesn't see the version of him that we do. That is, he thinks his radicalism and his weakness in foreign policy is normal. And so when we say, but that's radical, when we say, for example, if you promise people you can keep your doctor, you should actually mean you can keep your doctor. Now, that to him is just cheating, because this is a lot like the Hillary problem. I mean, why would we remind people that he actually said you could keep your doctor just because he said you could keep your doctor?
There you go. Newt apparently does not think we're scary because he's sticking around.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
And you're bringing someone you love.
That's right. And there's much more ahead. We showed you